There is a silent force shaping your destiny at this very moment. It is not your bank account. It is not your education. It is not your past mistakes. It is what you repeatedly believe about yourself when no one is watching. In the quiet corners of your mind, between doubt and desire, between fear and ambition, your future is being written. Not in ink, not in stone, but in belief. And every repeated thought is a chisel strike against the sculpture of your identity. Most people live unaware of this power. They think life happens to them. They blame the economy, their parents, their age, their location. They say, "I can't," so often that it becomes a prophecy. They whisper, "Maybe one day," until one day becomes never. But there have always been men and women who understood a deeper law. Thomas Edison did not invent the light bulb because he was lucky. He believed, before the world saw it, that light could be captured and controlled. Thousands of failures were not evidence against him. They were confirmations of his conviction. Every failed filament only strengthened the belief that success was inevitable. Andrew Carnegie was not born into steel and empire. He was born into poverty, yet he believed he would become powerful long before the world granted him power. His belief shaped his associations, his decisions, his risks. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. Imagine that. A man who would create entire worlds was told he had none. But he did not accept the belief of others. He chose his own. And because he believed in magic before it was profitable, the world now stands in lines to experience it. Belief is not wishful thinking. It is not blind optimism. It is the repeated acceptance of an idea until it becomes your identity. And identity dictates action. If you believe you are average, you will unconsciously make average decisions. You will tolerate average relationships. You will accept average results. Not because you want to, but because your mind seeks consistency with what it accepts as true. The mind is loyal to belief. This is why two people can face the same storm and walk away with different futures. One says, "This proves I am unlucky." The other says, "This proves I am being prepared." The same event. Two beliefs. Two destinies. What you repeatedly tell yourself becomes the blueprint your subconscious follows. If you say, "I am not disciplined," your mind will search for evidence to confirm it. If you say, "I always quit," you will find comfort in stopping. But if you begin to declare, "I am relentless," your behavior will slowly align with that identity, even before you fully feel it. You do not rise to your desires. You fall to your dominant beliefs. Look at Abraham Lincoln. He lost elections. He faced humiliation. He endured personal tragedy. Yet he carried a belief that he was meant to serve a higher purpose. That belief did not erase his failures. It reframed them. Each defeat was not proof of inadequacy. It was part of preparation. Belief transforms interpretation, and interpretation determines emotion, and emotion fuels action. Most people try to change their life by changing their environment. They move cities. They change jobs. They switch relationships. But they carry the same beliefs with them, and so they recreate the same results. Because the battlefield is not external, it is internal. If you believe money is scarce, you will hesitate when opportunity appears. If you believe success is for other people, you will sabotage yourself when you get close. If you believe you are behind in life, you will rush decisions and settle for less. But if you repeatedly tell yourself, "I am capable of learning anything," suddenly obstacles become classrooms. If you believe, "I deserve growth," you will seek mentors instead of excuses. Belief is the architect. Action is the construction crew, and repetition is the foundation. This is why morning thoughts matter. This is why what you consume matters. This is why the words you allow into your mind matter. Every day you are either reinforcing limitation or reinforcing possibility. You cannot repeatedly think small and expect to live large. The mind does not argue with repetition. It accepts it. If you hear something enough times, you begin to believe it. This is why criticism from childhood can echo into adulthood. This is why labels can become cages. But this is also why affirmation, vision, and intentional thought can become liberation. The same mechanism that built your doubt can build your confidence. But it requires discipline. You must guard your mind like a fortress, not with paranoia, but with awareness. Because every complaint is a vote for weakness. Every excuse is a brick in the wall of limitation. Every moment of self-pity is reinforcement of powerlessness. And every declaration of strength is a step toward authority. Henry Ford once said that whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. This was not philosophy for decoration. It was a principle of reality. Ford believed automobiles could be accessible to the masses when others saw them as luxury toys. His belief reorganized industries. Belief reorganizes reality around those who hold it with conviction. But here is the part most people misunderstand. Belief is not loud. It is quiet. It is what you say to yourself after you fail. It is what you assume about your future when nothing is happening. It is what you expect when you take a risk. If you expect rejection, you will see it everywhere. If you expect growth, you will find opportunity in discomfort. The law is simple but unforgiving. You become what you repeatedly believe. And if that is true, then the question is no longer, what do you want? The question is, what are you rehearsing in your mind every single day? Because whatever you rehearse, you reinforce. The mind does not distinguish between imagination and experience when emotion is attached. If you repeatedly imagine defeat, your body feels it. If you repeatedly visualize victory, your nervous system begins preparing for it. This is not fantasy. This is conditioning. Your beliefs are trained, just like muscles, just like reflexes, just like discipline. And if they were trained unconsciously, they can be retrained intentionally. Look at Oprah Winfrey. Born into poverty, raised in adversity, surrounded by circumstances that could have easily convinced her she was limited. Yet somewhere inside her, a belief took root, that her voice mattered, that she was meant for more. That pain could become power. She did not wait for evidence. She built it through conviction. Conviction precedes confirmation. This is where most people hesitate. They want proof before belief. They want applause before effort. They want certainty before commitment. But certainty is the reward of belief, not the prerequisite. If you wait to believe in yourself until you succeed, you will never begin. Belief must come first. Walt Disney sketched characters in small rooms before the world knew his name. Thomas Edison experimented in obscurity before cities lit up because of him. Abraham Lincoln carried vision through seasons of humiliation. They did not believe because the world approved. The world approved because they believed. And belief is not just positive thinking. It is clarity. It is deciding who you are becoming before the mirror reflects it. When you repeatedly see yourself as disciplined, you start waking up differently. When you identify as someone who finishes what they start, quitting begins to feel unnatural. When you believe you are a leader, your posture changes. Your tone changes. Your standards rise. Identity shapes behavior. This is why clarity matters. If your belief is vague, your results will be scattered. But if your belief is precise, I am building a body that radiates strength. I am creating wealth through value. I am becoming mentally unbreakable. Your mind has direction. Clarity eliminates hesitation. And hesitation is the assassin of destiny. Most dreams die not because they are impossible, but because they are inconsistent. People believe on Monday and doubt on Thursday. They declare ambition in the morning and rehearse fear at night. They water the seed and then dig it up to check if it's growing. You cannot plant belief and uproot it daily. Repetition requires patience. Consider Nelson Mandela, 27 years imprisoned. 27 years of isolation that could have hardened him into bitterness. But he carried a belief larger than his confinement. He believed in reconciliation when revenge would have been easier. He believed in freedom before it was visible. And when he walked out of prison, he did not walk out as a victim. He walked out as a symbol. Because belief shapes perception, and perception shapes response. You may not control every event in your life, but you control the meaning you assign to it. And meaning is molded by belief. If you believe struggle means you are failing, you will retreat. If you believe struggle means you are evolving, you will persist. Resilience is not toughness. It is interpretation. It is saying, this is shaping me instead of, this is breaking me. But belief alone is not enough. It must be paired with disciplined action. Faith without movement is fantasy. Conviction without execution is delusion. Henry Ford did not just believe in affordable automobiles. He built assembly lines. Andrew Carnegie did not just visualize empire. He studied systems. Belief gave direction. Action gave form. Every day you must act in alignment with who you claim to be. If you believe you are healthy, train your body. If you believe you are intelligent, feed your mind. If you believe you are destined for influence, refine your communication. Belief without evidence begins the journey. Action creates the evidence, and as evidence grows, belief strengthens. This is the upward spiral of transformation. Gratitude fuels it. Because when you appreciate what you have, you shift from scarcity to abundance. Gratitude reinforces the belief that life is working with you, not against you. And when you believe life is working in your favor, you move differently, you risk differently, you speak differently. Desperation repels, confidence attracts, and confidence is sustained belief tested by action. Adaptability protects it. The world changes, markets shift, technology evolves, entire industries collapse and rise again. Those who cling rigidly to outdated beliefs break under pressure. But those who believe in their capacity to learn, not just in a specific outcome, remain powerful. Elon Musk has seen rockets explode, cars criticized, companies doubted. Yet his dominant belief has never been that everything will go smoothly. It has been that problems can be solved, that innovation is possible, that persistence bends probability. Belief in your ability to adapt is stronger than belief in a single plan. Because plans fail, but identity endures. And when setbacks come, and when they will, the question returns. What do you believe about yourself in this moment? Do you believe you are unlucky? Or do you believe you are being refined? Do you believe you are overwhelmed? Or do you believe you are expanding your capacity? The mind searches for proof of its dominant belief. So choose beliefs worth proving. You are not designed to drift. You were not meant to live in reaction to circumstances. Inside you is the same mental faculty that built empires, composed symphonies, shattered limitations, and turned adversity into legacy. The difference between you and greatness is not potential, it is repetition. Repetition of thought, repetition of standard, repetition of identity. Every day you are voting for the person you are becoming. Every habit is a ballot. Every decision is a declaration. Every thought is a rehearsal. If you repeatedly believe you are powerless, you will shrink. If you repeatedly believe you are capable, you will stretch. And growth always feels uncomfortable before it feels natural. That discomfort is not a warning. It is confirmation. You're expanding beyond old beliefs. You are challenging the narrative you once accepted. You are rewriting the script. Most people inherit beliefs. From parents, from teachers, from society. Be realistic. Stay safe. Don't aim too high. And they carry these phrases like invisible chains. But realism without vision is stagnation. Safety without growth is slow decay. At some point, you must decide which beliefs are truly yours. Not the ones you were handed. Not the ones fear whispers. Not the ones convenience suggests. But the ones that align with who you are capable of becoming. You do not need permission to believe bigger. You do not need consensus to raise your standards. You do not need applause to begin. You need repetition. Daily intentional reinforcement of the identity you choose. Speak it, write it, visualize it, act on it, until it no longer feels like an aspiration, but like a fact. Because the most powerful transformation is not when the world sees you differently. It is when you see yourself differently. When you walk into rooms without shrinking. When you face obstacles without panic. When you pursue goals without apology. That shift does not happen overnight. It happens through accumulated belief. Brick by brick, thought by thought, decision by decision, and one day you look back and realize something extraordinary. The person you once hoped to become is now the person you are, not because luck intervened, not because circumstances were perfect, but because you guarded your mind, because you chose your beliefs, because you repeated them until they solidified into identity, and identity became destiny. So choose carefully what you tell yourself tonight. Choose carefully what you assume about tomorrow. Choose carefully the story you rehearse in silence, because the world will eventually agree with what you have been consistently declaring within. You become what you repeatedly believe. And if you believe you are built for growth, if you believe you are worthy of impact, if you believe you can learn, adapt, endure, and rise, then step forward with conviction. Hold the belief when it is invisible, protect it when it is fragile, strengthen it through action, refine it through adversity. Until doubt becomes foreign, until fear becomes fuel, until discipline becomes natural, until your reflection matches your vision. You are not waiting for opportunity. Opportunity is waiting for the person your beliefs are shaping you into. So believe deliberately, believe boldly, believe repeatedly, and watch your life reorganize itself around the identity you refuse to abandon.